as soon as Niki did get a chance to actually finish a race, while he won the French Grand Prix. And then came Monaco. Definitely one of Niki's favorite tracks in memory of 1973. But Niki had a hard time qualifying. He started in 8th. But it'd be the good time now for me to mention something interesting. Niki in 1985 said that he had trouble setting up the McLaren for 1984. The trouble was to set it in best condition for race and qualifying. He said he had a lack of experience in McLaren. He couldn't get the car perfect for qualifying and racing. So what did he do? He chose the race to fight. And that new rookie, Ayrton Senna, he was starting 13th. No, you actually need to keep that in mind. The Grand Prix starts and Alain makes an amazing launch off the line, getting ahead of Nigel Mansell. And before the tunnel, Niki made up 5 places. Prost lifted the pace enough to put a gap between him and Mansell, but Alain, Nigel, Alboreto, and Niki, they were managing a pace and being careful, planning a strategy of when to push when it gets dry. Although Alain Prost did have an advantage over Nigel Mansell in 2nd place, not just due to the very few parts where the corners are fast enough for the aero to work in these rainy conditions at Monaco, for Nigel Mansell to get a negative toe from Alain in those corners, but also there was a lot of spray coming from Alain's car as expected in the rain. So Alain had much better visibility than Nigel Mansell. So what Nigel was doing is staying a good distance from Alain until overtaking him, moving up to P1 until he crashed. Niki Lauda was also moving up the field, making one of his moves at the slowest hairpin, steering full lock. Look how close he went to that barrier. Then accelerating toward the right-hander to the downhill, he makes the move stick. But somewhere else far behind in the pack, there was a possessed Firebird who uninvitedly decided to burn the script. Rain that would usually be the great leveler, leaving it all up to driver skill and not about car performance. While in this race, yes, the Firebird did burn the script. He was flying up the field, doing it as if it's dry, yet the water was literally flowing down the track, completely comfortable in the rain. This Firebird was Ayrton Senna, while Jonathan Palmer, Derek, many other drivers getting tripped by the rain. Alain Prost and Niki Lauda having a safety margin. Ayrton Senna, on the other hand, was finding grip in ways that other drivers were not able to. Starting in 13th, well, guess where he is now? Right behind Niki Lauda. Niki Lauda in this time was working like a forensic surgeon, finding his way up the field. He landed P2 and he needed to catch Alain, but he didn't anticipate the speeding Ayrton Senna charging with fire right behind him. Niki tried to defend for a while as Ayrton was practically on top of him, but then he was gone. Before Niki knew it, Senna was beside him and then he was in front taking the first corner. Senna passing Niki also felt his aura, so they went together to chase Prost, but Niki knew he saw something surreal. He got caught in a flash by the Firebird. It's not something usual. So Niki trying to stay with Senna to catch Prost while there was no option but to push. He had to stay in Senna's pace and then he spun out. He couldn't do it. He didn't manage to keep the engine running, so he couldn't rejoin. The front wing was damaged. He was out of the Monaco Grand Prix. Ayrton closed the gap until he was sniffing Alain's bumper and he was ready to burn him down to 2nd place, winning the Monaco Grand Prix. Ayrton was operating on another level. He was catching Prost 2.5 seconds per lap. Previous drivers, he was catching 4 seconds per lap. But then Alain, seeing that he's being chased so rapidly by Ayrton, well, he told the stewards to stop the race, waving his hands. And Balestri, the boss, made the call when Ayrton was getting too close to Alain. The red flags came out, the race stopped. Alain stopped just before the finish line. Ayrton was the first to cross the finish line, and then they called the race on the previous lap, so Alain wins. And lucky for Alain, they were in the habit of calling the win on the previous lap when they ended the race prematurely. I'm talking about 31 of 77 laps prematurely. After the race, Niki needed to see something special for himself. It flashed past him too fast, so he couldn't see it properly. It was the Firebird, and he was greatly moved to encourage a new talent in him. But Niki also realized Alain Prost, and for the rest of the season, Niki knew the plot. He knew what he needed to do to win once again, and he became a relentless monster.